2016 Ford Fusion, lightly wrecked off the auction. First start. Why you no start? Oh, interesting. It doesn't start. Alright, let's find our car. It's red, so it shouldn't be that hard to find. Where you at? Where you at? There it is. 2016 Ford Fusion is the next victim. It's got some scars, but it doesn't look like it has any major frame damage. So, it should be good. Not a big fan of red cars, but this is just a flip. So let me back the trailer up over here, and I think it runs, it just doesn't drive. What is that? Well, this thing is pretty nice. It has a key. This one's also trashed. What is wrong with people trashing their cars? Like, what the heck? Here's the lock, tire gauge. What is all this? Alright, let me load it up and then go from there. Damn. Alright, the car is now in the trailer and strapped up, ready for a 200-mile trip back home. It's rough. It's very rough on the inside. As you can see, it's trashed, just like the other Focus was. But with a little bit of work and a little bit of paint, this thing will be back to normal in no time. So let's head home and start shopping for parts. Today's goal is to make this car drivable so I could take it off the trailer, so I can use the trailer for other things. So I got a few parts here. Got an axle, lower control arm, spindle, and a strut. I don't know if I need all of that, but I bought it as a package from my local junkyard, so I'm just gonna swap everything out. For sure need an axle, for sure, and lower control arm is snapped, you can see it, but right now I'm surprised the steering rack survived, honestly. But right now what I'm gonna do is unstrap it, take the wheel off, pop the hood, and get to work. Let's do it.
Hey, back. No. He's making you film him?
Yep. He's gonna fix it himself. Because he's Superman, so.
We're learning how to trade stocks tomorrow. My cake. Okay, cake.
It's nice when the car is designed to where if you do hit the wheel, it just gives out. It just snapped the lower control arm right there, and the axle came out of the boot, so there's no frame damage. Everything here is looking good. This corner right here, that's just the tap of a hammer goes back in, so this is not really like frame structural. This is the actual frame rail here, and it's all straight. This right here can just be replaced. You can just drill it out and replace it, so that's no big deal. Also, the reinforcement is all straight, so the car got hit right into the wheel. The wheel gave out, the lower control arm snapped and pushed the wheel against the car. So that's nothing crazy. I'm about to pop that broken axle out and just start reassembling everything. I have all the parts right here. Some of the transmission oil is gonna leak out, and that's okay, I guess. It looks dark. I can top that off later, no problem. I actually like getting cars with suspension damage because you get a car that's disabled and doesn't drive. And this one doesn't run right now because I haven't tried to start it yet. I got the battery charged up, so we will try to start it after this is assembled. But what I mean is, I like when the car is disabled and then you put all new suspension parts on, or used, like in this case. It came off a used car with low miles. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're OEM parts, you know, and you put them on and then make the car drivable, and it just feels good, I guess. So this car should drive itself off here in the next 10-15 minutes. I've got the lower control arm on there. I haven't tightened it yet. I'm gonna do that right now, and then I'm gonna put the strut in, pop the axle in, put the hub on, and we should be all set. Alright, new axle. Well, used axle, used strut, used lower control arm with low miles. I'm just happy that the steering rack or the tie rod ends didn't get damaged and they're still in good shape. There's no play or anything, so I'm happy with that. So let's keep assembling. All right, everything's assembled, everything is tight, torqued, everything up here is tight. So the only thing I didn't get to do today is get a new tire, and this one is just not good. Got a hole. So I'm hoping if I connect the battery, I'm able to get inside the trunk, because the battery is now charged up. Before it wasn't, and my jumper would not activate anything because this battery was so dead. The battery is about 3 years old actually, but I'm hoping that it's gonna stay charged up, just at least enough for me to get this car off the trailer, and then I'll figure things out later. So I'm gonna put this battery in and pop the trunk. Maybe we'll see a surprise in there, who knows, but let's get the trunk and get that spare tire out and go from there. Actually, hold on a minute, I have a spare tire right here. I wonder if this is off a Focus. I think the pattern is different, but we're about to find out. That would be cool if it was the same. Let me see. So I guess the pattern on the Focus and the Fusion is the same, so I don't even have to get in the trunk. I had a spare just chilling right next to me the whole time. So I'm gonna put this tire on. It's should be inflated enough. I'm hoping that the car is gonna sit high enough. Actually, I'm gonna put some boards underneath so I can open that door, because the fender, they're not removable on this trailer that I have, and it's kind of a pain. A lot of times if it's a car that's a little bit lower than others, I can't open the door with that fender being there, so it kind of sucks. But I'll put some boards under here so I can get in and drive this thing off. Let's do it. Ran out of time last night, but this morning I'm gonna hook up the battery and hopefully get this car running and get it off this trailer. Pretty sure I checked oil before, but let me just double check. Oil looks good and fresh. There's coolant in there. It's a little bit low, but it's there. So that tells me the radiator is good. That's pretty much all we need, I think, to get it started. So I'm not gonna tie in the cables because I'm gonna disconnect the battery once I get it off the trailer, but putting the wood under the tire actually helped, because now I can open the door fully. Mission is on. If anybody's hungry, there's some oatmeal left over here. So if anybody wants a snack, feel free. Alright. So it comes with a basic key. Again, just like the last car. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Let's open the trunk. I haven't seen what's in the back of this trunk yet. Oh, a scooter, a stroller, a purse, a helmet, a guitar. Life is good. Look at that. Nice. Alright. Definitely want to wear gloves taking this stuff out, but alright, let's get it off the trailer. It's still crazy to me that people drive like this. Like, clean your cars, because you're sitting in here, you're breathing this, and hopefully that's not piss over there. Let's hope it's not. Who knows? But it looks like this person was eating breakfast or something when they wrecked. There's oatmeal on the dash. So, alright. Off the trailer it goes. 2016 Ford Fusion. Lightly wrecked off the auction. First start. Why you no start? Oh, interesting. It doesn't start. Just trying to scan the codes and see why it doesn't start. By scanning codes, you could probably find out what sensor is unplugged or disconnected, which I don't know. I think everything's connected. At least enough things to start, but who knows? May just need to reset it, clear the codes, and try to start it like that. We're about to find out. I took this apart, by the way, at the auction because I couldn't put it in neutral. So there is a safety thing on the passenger side over here. If you take a long screwdriver, there's a red tab. If you push it forward, you can put it in any gear at that point without having a battery. That's pretty cool. I actually had to YouTube that at the auction because I didn't know that was a thing on this car. I mean, every car has to have it, but so I gotta reassemble this. Nothing's unplugged here, so it should work. But maybe because I actually did it without the battery and something got triggered. We'll see. So these are the codes I'm getting, and that is why it's not starting. Engine starter performance, generator current sensor circuit low. So I must have blew a fuse or something when the car wrecked. So I'll have to look into it, but for now I'm gonna put it in neutral and just roll it off the trailer so I can move on with my day. And then we'll come back to this car later today probably. So after further investigation, I found a harness that's chopped in half. Looks like when this car hit something or another car, the wire got pinched on sharp metal and it cut the wire off. So what I'm gonna do is get rid of this connector completely and just solder all the wires together and relume it, and that'll be it. And after that the car will run. So let's do it. And so by doing this, I'm not really affecting anything. It's just that these connectors, they ripped apart, and this end of the connector is completely missing. I don't even have it. So when I do this, I get rid of this connector. It's just it's gonna, for the future, it kind of sucks, because when you're like doing an engine swap or something like that, you'll have to keep this harness on the car, because you can't just disconnect it. It'll just be soldered together. So I mean, I don't think that's a big deal. If I had the other side of the connector, of course I would just put the connector back on, but even this connector is broken, and I don't have any here. I don't have any new connectors here. I have the terminals, but I just don't have the connectors. So this will just be my solution, and it'll get the car running and driving, because right now I have no signal to the starter, and this is why. Earlier the horns were right here and they were kind of covering this up, so I couldn't see it, but when I took the horns off, I was able to see this, and this is actually an easy fix. It just sucks that I don't have the other side of the connector. So what I'm gonna do is just cut one wire at a time and just splice them as I go. It's not that many wires. It may look like a lot, but it's not that much. So let's do it. Alright, so I'm down to the last two wires, and it turns out they're exactly the same color. They're blue and orange. So I pulled out the wiring schematics and double checked which one goes where, and I got it right. So I'm gonna solder the last two wires in the dark, because I lost sunlight or daylight, and hopefully it's gonna run. Perfect. All right, now some shrink tube. Some shrink tube right there. Okay, so I mean, it does look weird, but this is the right way to do it. It's soldered, and it has double-sided or double wall shrink tube, so it's weatherproof, and it'll go back into the original loom, and it'll be taped and zip tied back in its original place. So nothing to worry about. This wiring harness will outlast this car. So let's go inside and see if it starts. Okay, so first I'm gonna scan it for codes, just to make sure that it's all good. So we'll give that a minute. So the only codes I have are the SRS codes, or RCM, restraint control module, which are for the airbags. And I have a driver airbag and the knee airbag sitting next to me right here, so I'm gonna swap those out. But as far as PCM codes, there is no stored codes. The lights on the dash only have a low pressure tire light, which is because we have a flat tire. The hood's open, that's right. But it should start. Let's try it. And there we go. First start on this 2016 Ford Fusion, lightly wrecked in the front. So to end this video, I'm going to replace the steering airbag and the knee airbag, and I'm not sure what's gonna happen to this car from this point because I don't have any more parts. I am shopping around, so I'll see if I can get some parts and keep this build going. So let's get this airbag swapped out. New airbag installed, but unfortunately I'll have to take it back out because on most of the cars, when the airbags blow up, the connectors are melted in and you cannot remove them. So basically you just rip them out, but you have to replace the connectors. So later down the road I'll have to, when the car is fixed, I'll just replace those connectors. It's no big deal. All I have to do is remove that knee airbag and that'll be it. So to remove the steering airbag, I have another steering here. There's 3 clips, 2 on top, 1 on each side and 1 on the bottom. At the bottom of the steering wheel there's a hole, and you just take a pick and push the clip up and it will release the airbag from the bottom and do the same thing from the top. As you can see on the top, hard to see, I'm sure, impossible to see right now, but right here and right here you put like a flat screwdriver and you push it in and it pops the airbag out because it's held by 3 hooks, just like that. So there's 3 clips you push down. You could do the top 2 and then the bottom one. You don't have to do all 3 at the same time. I did the top 2 and then the bottom, and I just took it out. But that's probably gonna be it for this video. Got the car running. Well, we got off the trailer first of all while it wasn't running, and then got the wiring figured out, and now it runs. And there's no check engine light. There's just a low tire light, which, well, there's an airbag light on because I still have to reset the module once I replace the knee bag, and also the tire light is because I have a spare on the front left, and I'll get that taken care of ASAP. So now it's time to find some more parts to get this build complete. So stay tuned later.